What is up, everybody? We've made it to episode 10 of the B+Ball Boys podcast. We've got myself, Memphis Marco, and our buddy Eric. Sorry.
You say like our buddy Eric, like I'm like, it's you and Marco,
no,
and then I'm just
like
popping
my
along.
buddy Eric.
Meanwhile, I'm just trying to figure out how to get the M sign right. You know what I mean?
Just like Harlow.
Got to get it on both hands. Got to practice in advance of the playoffs here.
Exactly.
I found out I'm better at making it with my left than my right. I don't know why. I think I get the fingers backwards. I think when I try to do it on the right hand, so it looks weird.
It's fair.
Is that what we're gonna see in Memphis? Like during the playoffs, just a bunch of people in the stands, just
amming.
Yeah, because this is actually a thing.
That
you
is
know what I mean. It's not a gang sign. It is it's a M, right? So I literally saw like the Grizzlies cheerleaders doing it. So yes, the answer is yes. You will see it, I'm sure, a lot. But they picked like the worst slogan of all time. I'm pretty sure they picked like mem this or something like that. I'm like, dude, what's like?
I don't love
why?
It.
Why?
Okay.
We're just gonna ignore that. It's still Grizz next gen. That's what we're on.
I like it. Okay. Well, the main part of this episode will be going over our, play-in / playoff brackets, each of us. But first, I guess we wanted to address, the Frank Vogel firing / debacle that's happened last night and this morning. Well, me as a Laker fan, we knew this was coming. Don't know if it's deserved, but how do you guys feel about it?
Completely. I was about to say completely unwarranted, but somebody's got to be the fall guy. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be Pelinka. It's not going to be Bus. It's not going to be LeBron. Any of the players, really. So naturally, it falls on the coach. I just think that it's hard for me to imagine any coach having that much more success. It really is.
In 3 years, you win a title. You missed the playoffs once, but you lose to the eventual Western Conference champion. I don't know. It's not like a horrible, right? But you're right. Like the
roster was old. The roster, even with Frank Vogel's knack for drawing up defensive schemes, the roster was not constructed to execute such schemes, and injuries to the star players and LeBron and AD really derailed the season. And I fail to see how that is a majority share of Frank Vogel's fault. So I'm sure we'll see Frank Vogel pick up a job, maybe not as a head coach, but assistant coach somewhere, because I think that mind can be better used somewhere else with a more functional organization.
Yeah.
Maybe the head coach of the Sacramento Kings.
Yes.
Today said
just got fired.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he got fired.
I think he's transitioning to the front office, right? Something like that.
Oh, I don't know. But they were like he's the interim coach and he's no longer going to be the interim coach. Like he didn't retain the job, which I don't know if it is exactly firing, because the guy they actually fired was Luke Walton.
Mm-hmm.
And just saying that the Kings have had like 11 coaches in 16 years or something like that. So maybe Frank Vogel, but I kind of feel like they're going to cheap out and hire someone young, because they are like constantly paying coaches like 3 back from where they are right now, because they keep hiring coaches. As far as Frank Vogel goes, I will say not deserved to fire him, but probably necessary, in that no one could have coached this roster to be successful. But I don't think they're gonna fire Rob Pelinka. I don't think anything is gonna happen with Jeannie Buss, and like I really think that they are part of the problem.
Oh yeah.
At least the players and whoever's on the roster can go into next year with like a little bit of a reset in mind, saying, okay, we have a new coach, like we can put all that behind us and like start over. That's what I'm saying is probably necessary, but the way that they did it was just awful.
Yeah.
The way they did it was just you could have not been any worse to that man. He did not deserve that at all. He didn't even really deserve, he didn't even do a bad job. Like, and they fired him. Well, it was leaked that he was being fired before he even made it to his post-game interview.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Have
Like
you
a
ever
minute
seen
after
that
the win.
before?
Just
Have you
like a
ever-
complete lack of like no class, you know?
Right.
It's not. It's lacking so much class.
Well,
The
it was
man,
like,
we got to
it
remember
was-
this guy was the coach when they won the championship. This is not a scrub.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, as soon as the official announcement came out today, they had like a queued up graphic, like thank you, coach, from their Twitter come out like a minute later. Like they had already had the graphic made.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Very disappointing.
They did him dirty.
There's rumors they think they can peel away Nick Nurse. Like, no way.
No, they can't. You know why they say that? You know why they say that?
Why did they say that?
Nick Nurse is a clutch agent. Or clutch. He has a clutch agent.
Okay. Okay.
But why would Nick Nurse do that? Does this guy strike you? Coaches don't strike me as the kind of guys who are like, I need to make it to Los Angeles. You know what I mean? This is a dude who was coaching in like the British minor leagues not that long ago. And like the one thing about his systems is that his defenses are like the most aggressive in the NBA. His defenses are the most aggressive. I don't think the Lakers, you can't build a Lakers roster with the capabilities that they have that are going to be ready or willing to play a Nurse system. Right. It's just not going to happen. So I don't think it's a good fit. I don't know why he wouldn't stay in Toronto either.
There's so many young, talented players in Toronto too that like I'm sure he's excited to continue developing like Scotty Barnes and I mean OG Anunoby's still relatively young and those guys. So I don't know why would he
third team all NBA player Pascal Siakam.
Yeah. And you have a solid guard and leader in Fred VanVleet, who's still like he's like I think he's like 28. So
yeah.
Why would you run into the fire that is the Los Angeles Lakers? There's nothing appealing about, I mean, from the outside looking in, nothing is appealing. This did not go over very well. It did not do any good to the next coach of their team. So
and I'm not saying it's LeBron's fault, but if you coach LeBron, you are always under scrutiny.
That's true.
Always.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this earlier today. A lot of the coaches that have been fired under LeBron's tenure have deserved it. David Blatt, the guy they replaced him with is really, really good, Ty Lue. I think he's now the best coach in the NBA. Was probably not at the time, but was really
probably
good.
Now.
Luke Walton, like he is not an NBA coach. NBA head coach, in my opinion.
That's fair.
I know he tried to get Spoelstra fired in Miami, but to be fair, not to be fair, because it is a little unfair. First of all, Spoelstra was not the Spoelstra that we know today at the time.
True. He was younger. Wasn't
he developed as a coach, much like a young player would develop as a player.
Yeah.
And second of all, he was trying to get Pat Riley to replace Spo with himself and bring Pat Riley out of retirement, which, I mean, I don't know if it would have worked, but at least like it's not the most insane thing you've ever heard, you know. So I think there are a couple others from his earlier Cleveland tenure, but if you coach LeBron, you're always under scrutiny. You can get fired. The people in the media are always talking about you. The fan base is always talking about you. Vogel is not a bad coach. And all I heard from Lakers fans was about how bad he was doing.
The only thing that like you could say is that like he was given the okay to bench Russ, and then he was like didn't do that as much as like he could have. But it's also like that would have been
Russ like sorry, go ahead.
that would have been like a headline in himself. Like he was stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like he couldn't really. That wasn't an actual option available to him, sort of.
Didn't he do it and then Russ like sat out a game with like back tightness?
Yeah, that was. I think the back tightness was like right before the trade deadline or something.
Yeah. Oh, that was true. And he also said he's not used to the back tightness was because he was not used to sitting for that long.
Which is just like, I know, Steve Nash had a condition. He had an actual condition where he couldn't sit for too long.
Oh, really?
Because of his back. Like, I forgot what it was called, but he used to like lie on the floor or something. Because it put pressure on his
Steve
back.
Kerr had a back surgery too. I don't know, maybe
his was very serious. But that was,
I mean, that's the one that
coach.
Yeah, that led to Luke Walton like subbing for him for like 40 games or something like that. But
right. But no,
and that made people think that Luke Walton was an NBA head coach, but really he had the 2016 Warriors as his team.
They were pretty. They were all right. They were.
Yeah, that was a pretty good team. If you look back at
not
it,
too shabby.
Take.
not too shabby at all.
Okay, I think we're all sort of aligned on this. Like,
Frank Vogel,
he'll find another job within a coaching role.
Might end up in Utah, but we don't have time to get into that right now. But,
and you're not getting Nick Nurse. You're just not.
I agree. We're not. That's pie in the sky type deal. Okay, well, in case anyone is interested in following along how our bracket does, I think the group is public. B+Ball Boys is on the NBA bracket challenge, but we want to go round by round here, boys.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Let me move mine to the side. Cool.
Should we start with the play-in?
Start with the play-in.
In the East, let's start with the East. I was just thinking we'd start with the East.
Yeah.
The East play-in, I think everybody has kind of penciled in Brooklyn as the 7th seed.
Facts.
And I don't see anything wrong with that.
Can we just take a moment to be sad that we can't experience a healthy Cavs, a young, healthy Cavs team in the playoffs? It's really a shame. I mean, we've been blessed this season, but I really think that it would have been fun to watch a young, like fully healthy Cavs team in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they play such a unique style. I wanted to see like their 3 big lineup go to, but Garland, I mean, he's still going to be fun to watch. But not having Jared Allen is just so upsetting,
Yeah. Very excited for next year, but not their year this year.
Yeah. And therefore, I mean, I am kind of like considering them to maybe even lose that second game and drop out of the playoffs entirely. But in my opinion, the Hornets are not that good. And also the Hawks will be missing John Collins. I'm pretty sure he's not going to play. So I'm not convinced they even make the postseason. But they could.
Yeah. it's the timing, momentum. Like you mentioned with Charlotte not being good, that is made worse by the fact that the Hawks really picked it up later in the season. And they're kind of on a roll right now. So I don't know if you guys have this scenario playing out, but it sounds like it. So you got Brooklyn knocking out the Cavs, and then Atlanta moving up to like the 8th, and then
That's what I have. Okay, cool. So we all have that as the East plan. Do we want to do the West plan, or do we want to just do?
We can do the West plan.
We do West plan, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we have the Clippers versus the T-Wolves. I think that's tomorrow night. Yes.
It is. I'm excited.
I think I have the T-Wolves tomorrow.
I have the Clippers.
How do you guys feel? You have the Clippers. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. This matchup. Sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
I have I might be incorrect on this, but so they're playing in Minnesota, right? And if the Clippers win, they have to win the first 2 games?
No, if the Clippers win, they're the 7th seed.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's like okay. Then I have Minnesota winning.
That affects it.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
Because
I
it's
was
in
just
they-
what at what point does it kick in? I'm trying to remember like where they play the two games.
so
Like
the loser of 7-8 plays the winner of 9-10, I think, in the place of the eight of like the 8 seeds
Okay.
home court. Yeah.
Yeah, basically the 7-8 is playing like double elimination, while the 9-10 is playing single elimination.
Mm.
You know.
Yes. Yes.
So I just want to point out something to you. The Clippers won 3 out of 4 of the regular season matchups. And I think pretty decisively normally. You have a 126 to 115, a 104 to 84, a 129 to 102, and then a loss in January, which I believe is the only game Paul George did not play, since the other 3 of these games were played in November, where Minnesota won 122 to 104. This is not a good matchup, I think, for the Timberwolves. And I mean, it's one game and it could go either way, but I definitely think that the Clippers are alive here, and that I have taken the underdog plus money here.
Okay.
At like plus 120.
Nice.
I think there's even plus 130 out there, but I think the Clippers are going to win this game, or I think they're at least have more than a 50% chance to win this game.
Wow. Okay. I mean, you make a compelling argument. We'll see. I guess maybe I feel like everyone sort of was expecting the two, young franchises to play each other in the 2-7 matchup. Maybe I was mentally penciling that in, but okay. I can see the Clippers going. You made some good points.
Mm-hmm. However, I think
go ahead, Marco.
I was just gonna say the Wolves are a step ahead of the Pelicans or Spurs. I think they'll smack whoever's in that game and still make the playoffs.
Oh yeah. So okay, we have the 7-8 being the 8-7 or the 7-8. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right. Back to, I guess, the East for the first round. It's good that we have all the same play-ins. Miami would be playing Atlanta, 1-8. I have Miami in 5.
I have Miami in 4.
Okay.
I have Miami in 6.
Ooh, you're giving them some respect.
All right.
Yeah.
Ice Trey.
I'm going with this is not something that is measured in the stat sheets. But Atlanta can get live, man. Atlanta can get live, and I think we can. I can see not winning both home games, but I could see leaving Miami 1-1, then coming back to Miami like and split 2-2. So, but yeah,
okay.
I could see it.
Maybe my reasoning is I watched them play the other night, and I was just really unimpressed with how Atlanta played Miami. And maybe I'm putting. If you said Miami in 5, I'm cool with Miami in 5. I just don't really see the Hawks winning 2 games, and I'm not even a huge believer in this Heat team. But
Right.
I don't even see the Hawks getting 2 games off of them. I think it's Miami in 4 or 5.
Okay.
This is more of a gut thing with me. I think
the Hawks have momentum. They have been playing well over the last couple months, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like their shooters have to get hot, which is something they can do. Their shooters can get hot. I don't think like Clint Capella I don't think he's gonna dominate the glass against them. Trae Young, the Heat allow the least assists per point guard, I think, or like top 5 in allowing the least assists for point guard. So they're a little geared to take Trae's game away to begin with, and I'm just gonna say that I'm not gonna say it's a bad matchup, but it's not a matchup that Atlanta can take advantage of. And they have to start Gallo because Collins is out. I don't know if he's coming back.
it's going to be interesting in that Miami defends the three really well. Atlanta shoots the three really well. Miami ended up, they were the number one 3-point shooting team percentage wise.
They are.
Atlanta cannot defend three, but like we've said, that's a whole season picture. And you had Miami play teams like, Boston wasn't looking that good to start, Toronto. So like you said,
Toronto, I think Toronto swept the season series with Miami. I'm not 100% on that, but I think they might have. They at least won 3 games.
Also but even Chicago, like playing Chicago, we know how Chicago's fared against 500 teams.
Yes.
My point is they defend and shoot three really well, but I think now in the mindset of most NBA players, it's 0-0. So
they were 3-1 this year. The Raptors took 3. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with I still have Miami winning, but I think as we've highlighted on this podcast, it's been rough. It's been a rough stretch for them. And I don't know. You know what? I saw Bam talking about the culture where he was on it was on Old Man the 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, we're just like brothers and I don't know. That kind of wears on you. I don't care who you are. It's kind of annoying.
It's honestly a little corny. Like we've heard about it.
I agree with you. I'm so tired of it.
Oh, it's like when you win a ring, you can talk about heat culture, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it's
not close.
It's been longer than like my team has never won a championship, but my team also never had LeBron James or Dwayne Wade.
Right.
So
right.
Okay, so they made the finals in 2020. It was I don't take away from any team for that being a bubble championship, but I do want people to recognize that was a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and you had to be mentally ready to play, and credit to them. They were more mentally ready than other teams. However, just I don't know if they would have their offense it's still the case. Their offense is just, I don't think it has enough juice for the second round of the playoffs or the conference finals. And we'll talk about how far we think they'll get, but and if they end up playing Cleveland, I still think it's 4 or 5.
Okay. It's 4 or 5 East, Sixers, Raptors. I have a repeat of the Kawhi situation, Toronto in 7.
Whoa. I'm saying I'm surprised because that's what I thought that I would be the contrarian in the group.
Okay.
I have the same exact pick, Toronto in 7.
Let's go.
Guess what?
No way.
I have Raptors in 7.
Whoa, what the?
I like
it. Okay, so no one here is a Doc Rivers believer.
No, I'm also a James
Sadly
Harden
not.
detractor.
Detractor. I think you can see what you're putting down there, where James Harden, I even saw a viral tweet today that was everybody can see that James Harden doesn't have the juice. But in the regular season, Scotty Barnes actually defended James Harden super well. And the thing is, he's quick enough. He's not the fastest, but he's quick enough, right? And he's just enormous. So if James Harden is struggling with his first step, how are you going to get by this guy who's 6'9" and has the world's longest arms? You know what I mean? How? And I just don't think that he's going to be able to get by a lot of the Raptors players because they're all identical.
They're all so
they're different versions of Scotty Barnes. Mm-hmm. And then you got one 6-foot dude who is, I've heard it said on a different podcast that he doesn't think he's 6 feet. He plays like he's also 6'9". He plays like everybody on the team is 6'9".
It's kind of true.
So
they're Van Vliet post baby stats a couple years ago.
Yeah,
that was my favorite. But no, yeah, I think that Harden could get exploited. Embiid will keep him in it. Yeah, I just even getting to 7 games is questionable. I think they're 3-1 this year. Toronto is.
With a very recent win that I thought was
Yeah.
pretty convincing.
Yeah.
I don't think the Thibault thing. So we know Thibault can't play in Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh right.
My little hot take prior to the season was that Thibault was gonna be like a weak point actually for the Sixers because you would just leave him open.
Mhm.
Like he doesn't do a ton on offense, you know. So I'm not like, oh my gosh, they don't have Thibault, like it's the end of the world in Toronto. I mean, it's probably not great. You have less options.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen and Thibault is playing well in Philly, now you can't play him in Toronto. It's gonna mess up your lineups. You just have less choices. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you guys a question. Doc Rivers said, if we're playing a big backup, we'll play DeAndre Jordan. If we're not playing a big backup, we will go small. Should Nick Nurse intentionally play a big backup center so Doc Rivers puts DeAndre Jordan in the game? I'm being 100% serious. I think that if Doc Rivers plays DeAndre Jordan, they might lose the series because of it. It's
Just
not
for
even
that reason.
Something that the Sixers do really poorly. They are a horrible rebounding team.
Really, I wasn't even aware.
Finished 29th in the league in total rebounds per game.
Yeah,
and something that Toronto does very well is rebounding. It's mostly they're a really good offensive rebounding team. They're not a good. They're last in the league in defensive rebound. But when you have a team that the Sixers actually finished 30th in offensive rebounds, so
Wow.
that's not a good matchup. And you're bringing up the point about DeAndre Jordan. I don't think that helps the situation. Probably makes it worse. So
Good point.
I think it could cost them the series. And also I wanted to say, I never felt like, a lot has been made about Embiid for MVP. And I just realized I never felt like the mindset of the team was to win the championship. I always felt like, there's something to be said about the person who's like, oh yeah, I deserve the MVP. Maybe, but also like it kind of takes your mind away from the team when you're like in the hunt for that. Not questioning his desire to win. It's more of just your mindset. And it's like, okay, you can put up points, but if you're not focused on things like rebounding and you're playing a team that can rebound and does a good job getting offensive rebounds, get put back points. So it might be really tough for you. And that's why I have Toronto in 7. But to answer your question, Marco, yeah, I think that would hurt them a lot.
I agree. I just also think it's silly of Doc to like telegraph. Like, I don't think he's playing like 3D or 3D, 4D chess here. Like, I don't think he's like outsmarting anyone. I think he's being serious when he says that. So like Nick Nurse probably like has an advantage just by knowing that.
Nick Nurse has an advantage because Nick Nurse is a better coach.
That's also true.
This is like, and people are okay. The Raptors don't have like an Embiid answer on their roster, but what roster actually has like an Embiid answer? You know what I mean?
Just Milwaukee.
Jokic.
I mean, I feel like he did as well as you could do the last time they played each other. So no team has like an Embiid answer. I feel like the Raptors' only bigs are like Precious Achua and Kem Birch. But we're talking about the coach that whipped out a box and one, which is mostly seen at the high school level and in my rec league in the finals against Steph Curry, right? People talking about that because they never seen that in the NBA. you know,
Yeah.
and for good reason most of the time. But he does these junky defenses. Like he's gonna pull something out, I feel like, for Embiid. Maybe not in game one, but a little bit later in the series. The Raptors always lose their game ones.
Yeah.
You can look historically, they always lose the game ones. Even if they win the series, they lose the game one. I feel like he's gonna pull out some weird defense on Embiid that's gonna frustrate him. Embiid's an improved playmaker, but against defenses that he's seen, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't know exactly how he's gonna react when I feel like Nick Nurse will concoct something to use against him.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
We're
think
aligned.
Doc doesn't have the adjustments. Harden doesn't have the burst,
It's not
and
have the burst.
that would probably just make the difference.
They're just a
Right,
slow team too. Like they can get ran on. So
Yeah, that's true.
okay. 3-6. Milwaukee, Chicago. Bring up the brooms, in my opinion. We got Milwaukee in 4.
I got Bucks in 4. Yeah.
Okay.
I have Milwaukee in 6.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I want to give respect to the fact that they got Patrick Williams coming back.
He's been back. He's been back for a while.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. You know, they had the really rough stretch. They had a really rough stretch where they were just, you know, sliding. They were at the top of the East and they just kept sliding and sliding. I want to give respect to that. And I said I was very high on them at the beginning of the season. So maybe it's pride, but I want to see some offensive firepower from them. I know Milwaukee's a good defensive team, but I really think they could etch out a few games. But I got Milwaukee in 6, so it doesn't even freaking matter.
That's fair. Okay. 2-7. So Boston, Brooklyn, we think.
I think we might be the most all over the place on this one.
Oh, really?
I have Brooklyn in 6.
I also have
Okay.
that.
I have Boston in 6.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, my assumption is that this Ben Simmons stuff is not real.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna play.
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna play. I just don't think Brooklyn's defense is good enough. That's what it comes
true.
down
They let
to.
up like
It's like
120 a game.
yeah, like you can score a lot. But the thing is, the Celtics, if you look at it, once they got past their like bad stretch in the beginning of the season, you know, it took them a while to get everything together. Trade one of the Jays, break up the Jays, all that stuff. Is Ime Udoka in over his head? They have literally played at like a 65 win pace since then, and that's for like half the season.
Yeah.
Which is, I usually
Not a
say
small
like
sample size.
yeah, I usually say like 20 games is like a good sample size, but this is like 40 games.
Right.
So we're really talking about a good sample, and they're just killing teams. Now, they are going probably to go up against Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, but I don't know. I have Boston coming through even without Robert Williams. However, the lack of Robert Williams will hurt him later for me.
Yeah.
There was one point at the season towards the beginning where Brooklyn was like the best 3-point defending team in the league. And they ended the season top 10 in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage, opposing like defending. That, and as to your point, Marco, about the Celtics playing Kevin Durant, likewise the Nets are playing Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So they might not be as good defensively as the Celtics have been, but I don't think that they're like I don't think they're scrubs. I think it'll be a dogfight, but can't go against. Kyrie has been freaking crazy. So I mean, we're gonna see a lot. I think we're gonna see some good performances out of Kyrie. And now that all the vaccine stuff in terms of him being able to play is behind him, and it's been like that for a hot minute, I'm sure he's walking in the playoffs with a clear head, ready to go. So, but
He's
yeah, I
played
think
worse.
probably
He
He's played
plays.
worse since it ended.
There's stats where it's like if he's doesn't have 2 days of rest, he's like 23, 5-3 versus when he does, he's like 31. I don't know, he's like 31, 8-6 or something. I don't know. It's
you're
like
saying he plays worse. Say it again.
when he like had a bunch of rest, he was like erupting.
Oh, I
right?
see.
But
Yeah,
I was
now
just
that he like
saying-
isn't conditioned, like he is playing closer to like a fringe all-star guy versus
I'm saying that mentally, like that is just being like, okay, I know what I have to do going into it.
Now,
I think that plays a big part into going into the playoffs.
he also
okay,
owns
mentally-
Boston psychologically. Is my one thing.
does he own Boston? Does he really?
I don't
I'm
know
not-
if now.
I don't know. There's one water bottle away from it being a whatever, but
Oh
no,
my gosh, I just can't get with him owning Boston mentally. He is like, look, I don't care that he stepped on the logo or whatever, but he made like a big point to like stomp on the leprechaun's face. Like,
Right.
I personally, I was like, why? Like, the fans will be fans and stuff like that, and they overreacted and everything. But I don't think he owns Boston mentally. I think that like it might become a problem that he's playing in Boston. Especially think about it. If it goes to 7, he's playing game 7 in Boston.
Okay. Yeah. You think the home court there is super valuable? I mean, I guess
It might be.
people do think that. Okay. All right. Well, that'll be interesting. I am very excited for that series.
also
Yeah, that'll be fun.
is Kyrie Irving observing Ramadan?
Oh,
Oh, I think he is.
wait, this has had to happen before in the playoffs for him, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have, because it's like very variable when it falls. Like sometimes it's in June, now it's in like
oh, you're right.
Other players have observed it too. Like, I know back when he was Enes Kanter, he was playing the playoffs during Ramadan in a series against Denver in 2019 with the Blazers.
Yeah.
So like other players have done it. I think Jaylen Brown is going to be observing Ramadan.
Mhm.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So there's that. But I know players do it. And then at some point during the game, I think the sun actually goes down and they can start hydrating.
That's why he was eating the fruit cup.
Yeah, I think they can't even drink water, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I think it'll matter, especially what he does like in the morning before the sun comes up, and like them to not hydrate him, or like to be careful like when the sun goes down during the game with what they actually give him. I don't know. I'm not a Ramadan expert.
Yeah.
Especially not a sports during Ramadan expert.
Right.
So,
I'm not sure. Do we want to move to the West first round?
Let's move on to the Wild West.
Wild West. Okay, we have 1-8. So we either have Phoenix versus Minnesota or Phoenix versus the Clippers. I believe they will be playing the Timberwolves, and I believe it will be Phoenix in 4.
Okay.
So I've talked you into the Timberwolves losing to the Clippers.
No. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot
Okay.
how that worked. Sorry. I have the Clippers going. So my bad. I misspoke there.
Okay.
Looking at it. I have them playing the Clippers and beating them in 4 still. But
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have them playing the Timberwolves and winning in 5.
I mean 5. Okay.
I said I have the Timberwolves. No. I have them playing the Clippers because I have the Timberwolves winning. And I have Phoenix in 6.
Okay.
Phoenix is 6. Okay.
You think
Yeah.
these early matchups are a little closer than I do for sure.
Yeah,
Some of them.
my reasoning for this is I think Ty Lue, I think he'll do what he can. I think he'll do what he can.
Mhm.
I think Paul George coming back and what he's been able to do when he's been back has been nice. So 6, give me 6.
They played the Suns last year, even without without Kawhi.
Right.
Okay. I don't hate it.
So, I mean, we have the Suns moving on either way.
Oh yeah.
So, Utah versus Dallas,
Man.
5-4.
Okay.
Let's talk Luka. I saw a picture of him in a walking boot today at the hospital. That was circulating.
Really?
So I don't know. Let me do a quick Google search here.
They have said it is officially a calf strain.
Okay.
Okay. Which stinks. That sucks.
Yeah, they've
But
confirmed
I still have Dallas coming out of it.
Wow.
First of all, I think Luka will miss at most 1 or 2 games. Okay. Because the low end for a calf strain is a 7-day injury when it's not a bad calf strain. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Luka misses the whole series, but I feel like he'll miss like game 1. Okay. That's my opinion. The Mavs without Luka could take a game off of the Jazz. Maybe even more than 1 game off the Jazz. I'm not saying that they would be favored, but they can get a game. They can hold it down, I think, until they get Luka back. And I think with Luka back, they are probably if he is himself, I think they're actually pretty clearly the better team. And would beat the Jazz. So even if they're down 1-2 in the series, I feel like Dallas can come back. I have Dallas in 6.
Wow.
Although Dallas in 7, I think is also reasonable.
I have Utah in 7.
7. Okay.
I just think
they'd win in Dallas. They'd win game 7 in
I think
Dallas.
the calf strain is you gotta be careful with those. And we don't know the severity. I just think that being up in the air is as bad as I think the Jazz have looked. I just don't like that has happened to one Luka Doncic. So I mean,
in game 82.
Right.
Yeah,
In
sucks.
game 82, man.
That's very unfortunate. Okay. I mean, I'm closer to Eric on this. I guess I'm the most pessimistic since I have Utah in 6.
Okay.
Because I think I really hate to see this happen. I probably would have had like Dallas in like 5 had it not happened. But I mean, the team like kind of goes as Luka goes. Like I could see them winning 1 of 3, and then Luka comes back and he's like a little hobbled. Like I don't know if he can win 3 of 4. Like maybe he can, but I don't know. I just I feel really bad for this team since they like got off of Porzingis. They're really gelling. It was like this is the year they don't have to play the Clippers, and then this happened. So we'll see, but would love to see him prove me wrong. That'd be great. Maybe he has a little Giannis in him, hyperextension, gets back to it in like a week and a half. That'd be great. So
Giannis did miss how many? He missed 2 games, right? Or he missed like the end of that
it was like
game he got hurt. He missed he got hurt in game 4 against Atlanta, right?
Yeah, he would have been. They said he could have played game 7. So, but it went 6.
He would not have set. He as a person would not have set game 7.
That's true.
Right. Did you see the thing that he said that like there's a protective part in your knee that if you like it stops your knee from from turning in a way that tears like your ACL or MCL. He said he tore that. He tore that protective part in that hyperextension. So if he had one bad bend of his knee, he was going to be out for a year because he didn't have the protective part in his knee. He still played like that. He still played Giannis basketball as hard as he could. You know what I mean?
Has he since gotten that repaired or no?
I don't know. That, you know what? I was wondering the same thing.
Okay.
I feel like he didn't get surgery. Maybe it healed. I don't know.
Okay.
So he said that like this was on The Athletic, I'm pretty sure. They had an interview with him that one time Jay Crowder shot a 3 and like kind of kicked out and it got him in the leg and he was like he was very concerned in that moment. That one kind of rattled him.
Okay.
And to me, the thing where he catches the lob and Chris Paul kind of shoved him in the back, knowing what we know now from what he said, like that could have that could have tore his ACL, bro. Like that could have tore his ACL. Like,
right.
That's kind of messed up, right? Like, I know Chris Paul, very respected. Like, he was just playing hard, and then something happens, but like that is crazy.
That is
okay.
crazy.
Anyway, like, I don't think that what happened to Luka is as bad as that.
It's definitely not as bad as that, but I also don't think he's like bionic like Giannis is. Like he misses more time generally and doesn't seem to heal as quickly. But
true.
I am rooting for him. You know, this will be if the Mavs can win, I think this is the season that or you know, Mitchell's last season, like we've talked about in Utah. So we'll see. All right.
I think it would be Gobert's last season.
Gobert's last season. I don't think Gobert would demand out.
I don't think you would. I think I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I think that Mitchell would demand a change.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And this or they would feel that they need to make a change. And this would result in them trading Gobert, even though I don't think it's Gobert's fault.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually think a lot of it rests on Donovan Mitchell, but we can talk about that another time.
Sure. Now we have Golden State versus Denver. Steph is still, questionable. I don't think he's for sure for game 1. But I just, I'm gonna give Denver some love. I think this is like the clear upset pick besides maybe Toronto, Philly. In my book, I think I have them in 6. What do you guys think?
I have Denver in 6 because of the.
He's got Eric sweeping.
He's sweeping. I have Denver in 6 because a combination of the Steph injury plus this is just a really bad matchup for Golden State.
Yeah.
They don't like to be forced to play big.
Mm-hmm.
Jokic forces you to play big. Draymond Green, phenomenal defender. I think Jokic is one of the guys who would give him problems. And you can even see from the regular season. I mean, one of those games you can throw out, but then so if you throw out one of the Denver wins because Golden State sat all their guys, it's really like 2-1 Denver. And then you're talking about Steph maybe not being 100% for this. So I got Denver in 6. If I was totally wrong on this, I would understand. I would just be like, oh well, Denver got out talented.
Right.
Like they have the MVP, but then like Golden State just has like a better overall team. So I could be wrong on this one, but I got Denver.
I have Denver in 7.
Nice.
Okay. So they got to win that last one in Golden State,
and they can do it.
They can do it. They can. Cool. All right.
You know what's crazy? Denver has a better road record this year than a home.
That's right. That's right.
You consider Denver to be like the home court advantage team, and it's completely gone in the other direction. So you know what? Denver in 7 may be a better pick.
I think we're going to see Aaron Gordon do some amazing things.
Okay. I would love to see it. I really would.
I think we're gonna see him get a lot of open dunks. That's what happens when you play with Nikola Jokic.
Amazing things.
So
Joker. Okay, we've gotten finally to Marco's team versus what he thinks is Minnesota, what we think
I think it's Clippers.
Oh, what he thinks
I
is
think
the
it's
Clippers, what
You
we
think
think
it's
is
Minnesota will.
Okay, yeah.
You got to bring out them brooms, man. Minnesota
Yeah.
and 4, baby. No, I got Memphis in 6.
That's what I have. The Bruins.
Can Marco, can you jog my memory? I'm trying to explain to I can't remember. This was like I think in November. There was like the second matchup, and the Timberwolves just like spanked them. What happened that game?
This was when the Grizzlies were still bad.
Okay.
Like we were like the Grizzlies. I think fans should be allowed to say we for their team. Okay.
I agree.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
we were like 9-10 or something like that, or 9-10 happened. The game that Ja got hurt the first time. Which he got hurt to both times he played Atlanta is when he got hurt. So the first game against Atlanta, we lost. Ja got hurt. I thought he may have torn something, and it turns out that he hadn't, and it was just a sprain. That loss put us to 9-10. I think prior to that, and so that injury kind of caused them to turn stuff around. But I think prior to that was when this Utah game happened, and that Minnesota game happened. And what really happened was they just went on the road and were like totally unprepared to play. They just weren't ready to go. Minnesota shoots some of the most threes in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not ready to go against Minnesota, they have a good shooting night. They'll blow you out. That's just the way that it works. You can also blow them out if they have a bad shooting night. And they weren't ready to play. And they said, we weren't ready to play that game. They went into Utah the next day. Jaren Jackson Jr. hit a game-winning 3, or the next game hit a game-winning 3 on the road in Utah. That was kind of like one of the turning points of the season. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where they got together after that loss and said like, "Hey, this is not the kind of team we want to be." So I kind of throw that out there. I know a lot about this potential matchup, because I'm a Grizzlies fan, right? Minnesota is a bad rebounding team. The Grizzlies are the number 1 rebounding team in the league. The Clippers, who I have them playing, are also a bad rebounding team. The Grizzlies are the number 1 rebounding team in the league. This discrepancy has been very clear in the regular season games against both teams, and I don't think that it is subject to change at all. So that's why I have the Grizzlies, if they play the Clippers, coming out in 5. And if they play the Timberwolves, I also have them coming out in 5. And you may look at the season series with the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves and say, this is 2-2. Like it's pretty close. Like it should be closer than that. Basically what happened is our perimeter defense kind of got cut up by D'Angelo Russell, because one defender, very key defender for the Memphis Grizzlies, missed all 4 games against the Minnesota Timberwolves this year. And that guy's name is Dylan Brooks. And he's back and he's healthy. And he adds that layer of point of attack defense. That means you don't just get cut up by D'Angelo Russell, like getting into the lane. You know what I mean? And I will also add that teams have like X killers, like who are players that just kill your team. You know what I mean? Will, you're a Lakers fan. Who's someone who just kills the Lakers every time?
Kills our
the
entire Raptors organization.
The entire the Raptors like never lose to the Lakers.
LeBronto's done.
Yeah. Kyle Lowry like always goes off against
Lowry
the
goes
Lakers
off.
and stuff.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, sorry, continue.
For the Grizzlies, I would say number 1 is CJ McCollum. For the Timberwolves, number 1 is Dylan Brooks, who, even though the Grizzlies have not been good for a lot of Dylan Brooks' career, the Grizzlies are 8-1 when Dylan Brooks plays against the Timberwolves. He is a Wolves killer,
I like it.
and I think we'll come out of that one in 5. But it'll be a fun 5. It'll be a fun 5.
Sweet.
However, I got us playing the Clippers.
Sweet. Okay. Going back to the East semifinal round, second round. We all have Miami playing Toronto. I have Miami in 5. What do you guys have?
Miami in 6.
And 6. Okay.
Miami in 7. I've been talking about how this is a terrible matchup for Miami for like weeks. But I don't know if it's enough for Toronto to win the whole series.
Yeah.
And they'll just be coming off 7 games against Philly too. So it's
That's
gonna
true. They'll be on short rest relative to Miami. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. We all sort of agree there. We have Milwaukee versus Brooklyn.
I have Boston.
Okay, yes. Versus Boston or Brooklyn. Okay,
Brooklyn,
so
guys.
I have Milwaukee in 6 over Brooklyn.
Eric?
So I don't like that they have to win in Brooklyn, but I do think there's an extra confidence that they have this year as opposed to last year that will, somehow make that series shorter.
Why would it be an issue for them to win in Brooklyn?
No, I mean, I know they did it last year, so they can definitely do it.
In game 7.
Right. So they can, game 6 would be in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like so they've proven they can do that. But I just I don't know, just doing I do think that 5-serve is a big home court advantage, actually.
It is, I think. Yeah, I agree with that.
I have Milwaukee in 7.
Over Brooklyn?
Over the Brooklyn.
I have Milwaukee in 6 over Boston.
Okay.
So this is the one where I'm like, Robert Williams is not here, and that's really tough. Because all of a sudden you're down a lot of size. Brooklyn, the issue I feel like is their bigs, right?
Yeah.
Milwaukee, the issue is they are huge. They are enormous.
Yeah.
So if you're honestly, if they had Robert Williams, I would be thinking about a Celtics in 7 here or Milwaukee in 7. I would say this is a 7-game series. But I think I have the Celtics here, and I think it's Milwaukee in 6. Which, like I said, I that's huge credit to Milwaukee because, I've been talking about, I think Boston has been amazing the second half of the year, and they're not going to be an easy out at all.
Yeah, no, I do think Boston's been impressive, and next year might be a better positioned year for them. But yeah. Okay. The West semifinals, we have Phoenix versus Dallas or Utah. I have Utah as the winner of the previous matchup. But I still have Phoenix in 4.
I picked Utah to beat Dallas in 7, so I have Phoenix versus Utah. I have Phoenix in 5.
Okay. I have Dallas, which assumes that Luka is back healthy at this point. He must be for them to have made a pass. So I actually have Phoenix in 6 over Dallas. I think it's going to be a tough series, but I think Phoenix comes out on top.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If they played Utah actually, I feel like has given Phoenix some issues. So I would probably go Phoenix over Utah in 6 as well. But
they've given them issues, is what you're saying. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Didn't they just blow that 17-point lead in the 4th?
Yes.
They did, but I don't know who was actually playing for a win. So
That's fair.
I'm not.
It's hard this late in the season to. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then we have Memphis playing Golden State or Denver. I have them playing Denver, and I have Memphis in 6. In 5.
Okay. This is the one I have Grizzlies in 4.
Wow.
Okay.
This is
to disrespect
your
Joker
Serbian
in
brother.
such a manner.
Here's the thing. Jokic, I obviously I love Jokic, right?
Right.
Though I think he's a much improved defender. He's actually a really good defender. I'm not going to say some stats say he's like one of the best defenders in the league. That's because defensive rebounds like matter a lot in the calculation of the Jokic. He's just a pretty good defender, but who gives him problems? Who gives Jokic problems that make him look terrible? It's fast guards. Okay.
Got all that.
And in the first 3 games against Denver this season, the Grizzlies exploited this in a major way. And I don't see that changing. I don't really see their only response to Ja Morant is to try to put Aaron Gordon on him, which it's something they'll try. I'm sure they'll try it. I'm just not sure it's gonna work. In this scenario, you know, Jokic, he's gonna get his game off, but I just don't see them. I don't see them winning a game here. If they get a game and it's Memphis in 5, like I'll get it. But I think this is the second straight year that my MVP, my Serbian brother, is swept in the second round.
Fair enough. Okay, cool. Going back to the East. Do we all now then have? Oh no, yeah, we all have Miami, Milwaukee now.
Yeah,
okay.
I do, yeah.
I have Milwaukee in 5. I think
Okay.
they do a little worse than last year, but still pull it off.
I have the same exact thing. Milwaukee in 5. This is where heat culture breaks entirely.
I have Bucks in 6 here.
Okay, cool.
I think this Heat team is a little better than last year's.
Yeah.
Well, I think it is better than last year's. I think the Bucks are still good enough to beat them though. So I got Bucks in 6 here, just like the meme. Brandon Jennings, the prophet. Bucks in 6.
Okay, heck yeah. Sweet. All right, and then we all have Phoenix, Memphis as the Western Conference Finals.
This before we say our picks,
Yes.
this might be the best series, Matt. Like if it plays out this way, this might be the best series, even over the final. I'm assuming we all have the same teams in the final.
Yeah.
But or maybe not, Marco. But this series, I am so excited to see the series. God willing, everyone is healthy. I just think it'll be I think it'll be amazing. But sorry, go ahead.
It'll be sweet.
I agree with that. I hope this happens. This would be a lot of fun.
It's fair.
It would cost me a lot of money in tickets. I will say that. I would try to get in there.
You got to do one of those videos, Marco. You got to make one of those YouTube. Like,
please.
I pretended to be a whatever media member and got in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just throw on a reflective suit. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll be the first one to upset Marco. I had Phoenix in 6.
Wow. I have Phoenix in 7.
I have Suns in 7.
Okay. So we're all on the same side.
I think you guys underestimate my ability to stay unbiased to a degree.
Well, it's not really a slight on you. It's like I still thought the Lakers had a chance like 2/3 of the way into the season. And so I guess I was projecting my irrationality onto you as a fan. But
I understand. I have Suns in 7. The Grizzlies play the Suns really well, but I think they're the better team.
Yeah. Okay.
They're a machine. Like,
well, did they end up? Well, there've only been like 15 teams that have 64 win regular seasons, and like 9 of them won the title.
You probably, I haven't seen that stat recently, but I would believe it. Like a 64 win season is insane. The Grizzlies, they have beaten the Suns. They're the only team in the NBA with a winning record against Phoenix this year. They're 2-1. Yeah, they're 2-1 against Phoenix this year. But
that's crazy.
In the playoffs, so that I'll even tell you what happened in these games. And that that the first loss was when the Grizzlies were still like doing really, they were struggling. And the Phoenix just got like insanely hot from three, won by like 30. It was no contest. The second game was the John Morant game winner in Phoenix, where I thought that was particularly significant because that means you're winning a clutch game against Phoenix, which is they have insane stats in the clutch. And then the third one, the Grizzlies actually sat everybody and Phoenix didn't. This was last week. The Grizzlies sat everybody, Phoenix didn't, and Memphis still won. And I was like out of my mind overjoyed like on that one. You had Dylan Brooks having like 23 and 7 assists. A guy who's known for not passing has like 7 assists. Like Santi Aldama, like throwing down a reverse dunk on the Suns. We won that game. So I don't think that's indicative of anything though. I kind of feel like it's just gonna be really close. And they're gonna get each other, and then the Suns, they're a machine. They'll just get the Grizzlies in Game 7, I think.
That's fair. Okay, cool.
I will be heartbroken. I'm not heartbroken making the prediction. I will be when it happens.
Right.
Because it will happen.
Okay, so we're all aligned. We all then have Phoenix, Milwaukee.
Part 2.
The rematch, yeah.
Part 2, part deuce.
The remix, if you will.
I feel like I gave the wrong impression when I laid that stat out. I have Milwaukee in 6 yet again.
Okay, Eric, you want to?
I have Milwaukee in.
No way.
No.
No, come on.
No, I have Milwaukee. I have Milwaukee in 7.
7, okay.
Same team, same result. I got Milwaukee in 7. Well, I guess not the exact same result, but same team coming out on top.
I just think Giannis has that. I know they would be playing a Game 7 in Phoenix, but just think Giannis's mindset is undefeated. I don't care where you go in. I don't even care if you're in Lambeau Field, 0-degree wind chill. I'm taking Giannis, so
yeah.
I agree. I think this take was Nick Wright's take originally, so credit to him. But like if the Suns were to win, that is sort of relatively unprecedented since despite the winning percentage in all the games, like you need historically, you need a top 5 guy in the league on your team, and the Suns do not have that. And Milwaukee arguably has a top 2 player on their team, and he's going to play, knock on wood. It's the likelihood of him being available every game is much higher than Chris Paul being out with a hand thing or something. Any various issue at Chris Paul's old age could happen is my point here. But, and I don't even know, I think he is not to the extent of a Harden or something, but he kind of fell apart last year. I could see him falling apart again, but maybe he's, exercised those demons and, doesn't cost it for his team. But I just think Giannis in the clutch now is probably the most sure thing. So
Suns do have one player that they didn't have last year. A man who was pretty instrumental in them doing so well this year. I think you know where I'm going with this.
JaVale McGee.
Bismack Biyombo.
Okay, so we're thinking similarly on that one.
That's right.
Jokes aside,
7'6" wingspan. That's all I'm gonna say. 7'6" wingspan. But go ahead.
Jokes aside, backup center was an enormous problem for them in last year's matchup with the Bucks. Usually you would have Giannis facing Frank Kaminsky or something like that. It was bad. Saric, he tore his ACL. He's still out. I don't expect him to come back. So picking up JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo is actually huge. I just think, first of all, Giannis is my best player in the NBA.
He's your MVP.
He was. I think that I could take my L there, and it's going to be Jokic.
Likewise.
But yeah, Will said top 2. I got him top 1.
Well,
he's
he's mine. I think he's mine as well, but I just
Uh-huh.
like didn't want to be controversial, I guess.
You got LeBron. You got LeBron and Giannis.
LeBron. No, it's. I mean, I think it's like KD, Giannis, then Jokic. Yeah, that's definitely the top 3, and then it gets like then there's a different tier, and I think LeBron's in the 3rd tier now, since it's like got Giannis, then KD, Jokic. I don't know what.
So I just. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. For
Eric
me,
does not rock with my tiers.
It's true that you just can't do anything against like KD, right? Like you just gotta hope he misses. It's basically true with Giannis, right? Like he's gonna put up 40.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of situations by just barreling down at the rim. And he's obviously is a lot more skilled than that. He's added the mid range. It actually takes skill to finish. People think that it doesn't. His different forms of steps and stuff like that are actually, I think people underrate like how changing up like these long strides just completely messes his opponents up. But his like combination of speed, size, and skill, plus like the improved jumper, I think makes him like not KD good on offense, but just below that, while being one of the 2 or 3 most impactful defenders in the NBA.
Right.
Which no other top player in the league is even close to. There's only one guy that's going to impact both offense and defense like that, and it's Giannis to me. Mm-hmm. The key here to me again is going to be Giannis versus DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
And I don't see Ayton. I don't think Ayton has. When I watch Ayton, I'm like, this guy is too big to shy away from contact like this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And one guy who's not going to shy away from contact is Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? And on top of that, you got the same issue as you did last year, where your 2 best players are guards. And the opposing team has a guy who can shut one of those guards down, or he did last year. He shut one of those guards down at a time whenever he was on him. Yeah. Only the other one could play well.
Yeah.
So, and you guys remember that, like when he was on Booker wouldn't be having a good game. When he was on Chris Paul wouldn't be having a good game. They could only get one of their guys to play well at a time.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I'm taking the Bucks in 7. I really do think they take that 7th game on the road, a lot like Game 5 last year, where I'm very excited. That's going to be a fun one. Suns Bucks 2, the rematch.
The rematch.
We all have Milwaukee.
So let me ask you. That I'm surprised that how similar our choices were.
Yeah.
But let me ask you guys. Say that things go according to our prediction here.
Yeah.
Giannis won Game 7 in Phoenix or Game 6. Okay, I think 2 of us had Game 7. Okay, let's for the sake of this argument, let's say that he wins Game 7 in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Hoists another trophy on his opponent's floor, and is a 2-time back-to-back Finals MVP. I believe at the age of 27, he's now a 2-time champion, 2-time MVP, 2-time Finals MVP, and 1-time Defensive Player of the Year, on top of the Most Improved Player award.
Mm-hmm.
Does Giannis have legit GOAT chances if things go all according to our prediction here?
I think so. In terms of, well, he will have had 2 fewer finals losses than LeBron did at a comparable position.
I'm not big on finals losses as an indicator.
You're not big on finals losses? Okay. But I think people do, that is baked into it. But okay, yeah. So he's got all the accolades, right? He even has like a most improved player. So that's like a funny thing. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think he like if he wins this year, then he enters like he's the next like guy that like LeBron's looking over his shoulder, and LeBron's like kind of afraid of him, the same way that MJ was like looking over his shoulder at Kobe and LeBron. Um, I don't know.
mean,
I don't know if MJ will ever be intimidated until it gets to like 4. But so you're not a rings guy though, is what you're saying.
I'm not a finals losses guy.
You're not a finals losses guy.
What is a finals like? What does a finals loss mean? It means that you made the finals and lost, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I agree with your argument. It's better to get further.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
If you don't have that finals loss on your record, that just means you lost before the finals.
Right.
Like, how is that better? It's worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at LeBron's career, I'm like, okay, 4 finals wins.
Yeah.
He made the finals how many times? Like 10.
He's 4 and 6. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, 10 finals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where you look at Jordan's career, you're like, okay, so when he did make the finals, he won all of them, 6-0. But there were,
what was it, like 4 seasons the Pistons got him? Like,
even after this LeBron season, you still got like comparable Jordan seasons where they get washed by the Celtics in round 1, or he doesn't make the playoffs or something like that, right? That happened. You know what I mean? And you can't erase the fact that it happened. So like, I don't really care to argue LeBron versus Jordan. I'm saying if Giannis wins this championship, he has a non-zero chance to become the GOAT. You guys seem to agree. Do you agree?
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I don't know how Eric feels.
I'm gonna have to. You know what? I'm gonna report back. Let me say.
Gotta see how it plays out.
Okay.
I gotta be like I just gotta think about it.
Okay.
Goat. He'll be in the GOAT for NBA comedian. His jokes are hilarious.
He's got good data.
This might be full circle for the podcast, but we were talking about Russell Westbrook, how he interacts with reporters. You should take a page out of Giannis's book for real.
That's true.
Crack up his jokes. That's a good narrative to write about yourself.
That's true. Everyone likes the guy besides the Suns. But yeah. Okay. Any additional closing thoughts? That's crazy that we all have the same.
Lakers need Tom Brady.
The Lakers need Tom Brady.
Okay.
I don't hate it.
All I want to say is that all I want to say is the Grizzlies can beat the Suns. They probably won't, but they can. They can. I believe in them. They can.
Okay.
That's fair. Okay, sweet. I guess that's been
NBA season
episode 10. We will check in after we've gotten a couple rounds or a couple games of the first round in next week. So looking forward to it. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you. Throw out the M.
Memphis Marco. I don't have it. Memphis Marco. Let's go.
I'll teach you.